Okay, so it is currently the day after HallowLAN. It is the 25th of November. HallowLAN just ended on the 24th, yesterday, Sunday. And for this stream here, I was having a lot of difficulty with OBS. It would keep on freezing my entire computer, and the only way to get it unfrozen would be to do a hard reboot, to hold the power button and then force it to restart. So eventually, I just went to the dark side, and I decided to download Streamlabs OBS and just set up a super basic layout of just game and camera, and I would stream using that. That came with its own set of problems. One, it was 720p. I didn't realize that it defaulted to 720p. This is something that I realized a little bit later in Final Fantasy 16, and then I restart the stream, and then it's 1080p. So the graphics are gonna suck a little bit right now, but they'll get better a little bit later. But the bigger issue is that it's not in sync. This one specific 2-hour stream where I finished off Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and I started streaming Final Fantasy 16 where I did about an hour of it before I had to call it a day and get a little bit of sleep before the final day of HallowLAN. Well, it was already the final day of HallowLAN because it was after midnight, but you know what I mean. So the audio is in perfect time, like it plays at the exact rate that you'd expect, but the video is slowed down by roughly half. So if you see here, I make the sound, I go, but in the video, I do that around there. So it gets more and more out of sync as it goes on, to the point that the audio that you hear and the video that you see are completely different. And I had no idea what this meant, why the game runs like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I guess that meant that the game was like much slower and the audio wasn't showing the right things, because this would have been showing things from like forever ago. And yeah, I didn't know what that meant at the time. So you can already hear Final Fantasy 16 audio.
There. What?
Not here. That's wrapping up the game. Somewhere around here, I think.
Just a small, tight-knit community thingamabob of like 50-ish people that all come together
describing
and play
the event,
games.
giving like the little HallowLAN intro for Final Fantasy 16. But you can hear the OST for Final Fantasy 16 at that point. So yeah, I wanted to stream a little bit of it at HallowLAN to showcase like the local LAN event and be doing a little bit of all my actively ongoing playthroughs at like the cool LAN event to showcase the venue and stuff a little bit. So you can hear me giving the intro there, and then skip ahead a little bit, and then it's like, hey, here's the actual Final Fantasy 16 content here. And yeah, the audio would have been completely off.
With them.
You can hear that's a cutscene. So that's something that I can sort of fix. As you can see, I did here. I sped up the video to match the audio, and it's not perfectly in sync by doing that. It seems like this must have fluctuated the speed at which it slowed this down. So there's some parts that are like perfectly in sync and some parts that just are not. So if you look at something like the battle up here, this should be pretty in sync.
And in that, I was getting lost a lot of the time.
Like, I did my best to match it up here to make this as viewable as possible. But
and then yeah, I tried to.
I noticed in the Thousand Year Door that by syncing it up at the end, it didn't necessarily make it perfectly synced up earlier because the rate at which it slows it down fluctuates, so it's not quite perfect. So this next part of Final Fantasy 16, you might notice some slight fluctuations, but hopefully nothing all that serious. But the bigger concern is by taking the video that was like this speed in the original VOD that I had and speeding it up while keeping the audio at the same speed. I have about a full hour worth of content that has audio and no video. So, yeah, that's great, isn't it? So yeah, this part here will be part 52, as long as there's video, and I guess wrapping up like the last little bit there if I wanted to wrap up that one quest with audio only. And then this whole section, I may as well upload it, maybe it's just like an unlisted video or something like that, so anyone can see it as part of the playlist, but it's not exactly going to be showing up on my page. Call it like part 52.5, just for like archival purposes, just so that it's there if anyone wants it. You can just listen to it and use your imagination if anyone really cares. But at some point, I should probably go and redo that. And I did do a later stream of Final Fantasy 16, and that one seemed to work just fine, as far as I could tell. Like, I haven't done my work in post yet, so I guess I don't really know for sure. But I will later today, and from what I could tell, it seems like that stream is perfectly fine. So, I booted up my PS5 ROG controller, and I looked through my autosaves, because I just did a hard save at the end of my final stream at HallowLAN, as I usually do at the end of any stream of this game. And I was like, okay, how long ago were the last autosaves? How far back does it go? not far back enough. It doesn't cover this. But I do have some old save files, and maybe I can load one of those old save files, put it into like the story mode, the easy difficulty, and equip a whole bunch of the Rings of Timely, whatever the hex, and just like bum rush through, because I would like to not just have an hour worth of content in the middle of my series be audio only. So if I get the time, I wouldn't mind redoing them and having like a proper part 53 and 54. This would be with proper video, but this would have been like the original of it, and you can check it out if you want, but I'm probably gonna have to redo that. So yeah, this is probably the most technical difficulties I've ever run into at a LAN event, at any big event that I was doing at all. It would have been a whole lot nicer if this was going on when I was just doing casual streams here in my office, as opposed to at the cool LAN venue that I'm trying to like showcase stuff at. Like, really had to do that, huh? Really had to break there. So yeah, just a little bit of a heads up. That's what's going on with the audio of this part, and why there'll be a part 52.5, and then me having to redo that stuff later. And if anyone's tuning into this as part of the HallowLAN playlist, that means there's going to be a couple videos that don't even take place at HallowLAN at all in this playlist. And that's the reason why. Because while I could just have the HallowLAN playlist be content that was purely done at HallowLAN, it'd be pretty strange for it to go like part 52, and then if this is 53 and 54, then part 55, when 53 and 54 would have taken place at HallowLAN, but then it's just not in the playlist, and just be a weird thing. So yeah, I'll just have the fixes that I make for them be in the same playlist as well. So yeah, that's a little kerfuffle here. So now you know, just as a heads up, that is what to expect here. I just did the work on the Paper Mario The 1,000-Year Door content here. I have like one of these little blurbs already, so anyone watching that series knows as well. And then you can see I sped this up to a slightly different rate that I sped this up, because again, like the fluctuations, and then the final part of the 1,000-Year Door. And then yeah, this bit of Final Fantasy 16 content that's really just gonna go up until here. So yeah, fun, right? Aha. Aha. Alright. Seems like things are working here. Alright. Let's play a little bit of Final Fantasy while I'm here. So, it is 4:06 in the morning. New notifications, I don't care. 4:06 in the morning at HallowLAN 2024. A 2-day LAN party, goes Friday to Sunday, a little bit under 2 days total when it starts later on Friday and then early afternoon on Sunday it ends. I have a list of things I've been trying to get through here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through them. And I've been running into countless technical issues. This took way longer than expected to beat. This took way longer than expected to beat, but still pretty short term there. This wasn't working and just completely kept on crashing my computer for some reason. And I thought it was a capture card thing. I think it's an OBS thing. And I did this, and that worked, and then I came back and tried to do this. And I found out it was just a general OBS thing. And I couldn't stream for the life of me. And I've been dealing with technical issues for so dang long now. So, I thought that I wouldn't be able to continue streaming here at all. But I kind of wanted to keep the HallowLAN stuff going, and so I went to the dark side, and after so many hours of trying to fix OBS, just nothing working, I eventually went to the dark side and just downloaded Streamlabs OBS that I swore I'd never use again, and I'm running a super basic setup here. I don't know how to set up a fade transition here. I don't know if this is like the normal size I have my camera at when I'm doing it on normal OBS. This is just a thing that I slapped together for the sake of being able to stream this here. With all the technical issues that I've been getting here. Yeah, there's been a lot of stream dying and going back up. I streamed for almost 28 hours. No problems. But from that point on, it just has refused to work consistently. So there's something wrong with OBS. I thought it was something wrong with my capture card. It wasn't. I started figuring out how to stream my PS5 to my PC and then capture that on OBS, thinking that it was a capture card thing, so I could solely stream this without needing my capture card. Nope, it's an OBS thing. Hard to believe you've only been live for 46 minutes. Feels like you've been live all day. Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. So, yeah, I'm at a point where it's like, there's side quests that I have to do as part of the story. Alright, this is definitely not the same aspect ratio I usually have my camera at, because I know that that's usually legible. There, like that. So probably this size, right? Is usually what I'd have it at. So, yeah,
most people are asleep here now. It's kind of the case. So, I mean, if I spin around, it's a very quiet venue. There's a door that I'm, like, close to, so whenever people go in and out, I've been very cold. It's a local LAN party, much smaller than Fragapalooza. Just a small, tight-knit community thingamabob of, like, 50-ish people that all come together and play games and stuff. So, you can see a lot of screens off and people asleep all over the place, and I feel kind of bad rambling when, and streaming when people are asleep around here, but like that's kind of par for the course at events like this. That's as far as the camera goes around. I can manually pick it up and twist it around. Yeah, this is what the venue is looking like. So I always try to stream a whole bunch of games at events like this and just showcase like the venue and talk about the event and stuff like that. But my energy's a little bit drained, and at this point I'm mostly just doing this for the novelty of doing something like not at home in this series. But it yeah, I don't know how much we should drop by and get you a coffee. I don't actually drink coffee. Only drink water and juice. Does it. And milk from time to time. Oh, I'm gonna have to go around this way. So yeah, I figured I'd play a little bit of this at this point while being like half dead here. Tea is just leaf juice. What about tea? I'm actually not that big of a tea drinker either. But yeah, 4:10 a.m. This is going until 1 p.m. It might still be possible to get through the other things on my list, but we'll see. So, there's this Out of Shadow quest that's just go around doing a whole bunch of stuff before I can continue the main story. And I figured, like, hey, that could be fair game to do at an event like this. And then I just continue with, like, the actual main story stuff and, like, the super heavy cutscenes when I'm back home again, is what I thought made the most sense. And looking it up, apparently, like, the next story quest after this is another one of those things, like the Follow the Crystals quest that I got, where it's like, yeah, doing a bunch of side quest stuff. That is main story side quest stuff before the big stuff happens. I thought maybe I could do that too. The next quest is called Onwards.
Oh, Sid,
so I mean,
is this about the helm?
depends on how long this stuff takes me.
Yes.
I'm gonna fall asleep at 2 p.m. and wake up at 3 a.m. Well,
I'll show you the plans then.
we'll see. That'd be
Here you
fine.
see the mithril
I would
engine
think.
in which
Oh, my
mithril
hotkeys
is
aren't set up
burned
here
to
properly.
generate heat. Heat is then harnessed to produce
Let me fix
motorsports.
that. Again, I just threw this together haphazardly just so I could continue streaming here because OBS has decided to stop working.
Which disperses it into the surrounding air. Were we to rely on thermal plating alone
Let's do this, how
to
about?
achieve this effect, the rate of excess heat buildup would far
Then-
exceed the displacement coefficient of the plating. In other words, the reactor would overheat and eventually explode. This is
There we
where
go. Now my
helm comes
hotkeys are
in.
set up.
It connects to the plating.
I'm used to
quickly
my
and
hotkeys
serves
just
as a
always
sort
working.
of thermal sink to absorb all that excess energy.
Turn this up.
Our experiments have shown that fallen
Here-ish.
ceramics are remarkably thermophilic.
There,
They can
something like
withstand
that.
and absorb levels of heat far above anything we are able to make today. And not only that, they're also waterproof and immune to rust, making them the perfect material for our protective hood. Why? If sea or rainwater were to enter the reactor proper, it would vaporize instantly. The forces produced would tear the ship from stern to...
You can stop there. I understand. Mid said we might be able to use parts of a fallen ruin. Where would I find it?
Ah, yes. It's in Lorbert's Pass, near Lostwing. The thing is, well, I probably should have arranged to have the pieces we need brought here sooner. You see, a certain unwanted visitor has taken up residence there. It's no longer a matter of just walking in and taking
Okay.
them. It's,
I don't have a microphone muting and unmuting
going to be
hotkey, but I have a
considerably more
mute button
dangerous
on my
than that.
actual microphone that I'm just so not used to
I
using.
see.
I had to click it a few times
Then I suppose
to
I'd better deal
unmute
with
myself when I
someone
muted myself as
before
a
you.
test.
Would that help?
Oh, very much.
Because yeah, there's still
Thank you,
lots of
sis.
other sounds around here.
I'll gather my team and head there
This is
right
the case.
away. We'll meet you outside.
So
the
I don't
walls.
hit that button, you'll be hearing lots of random noises. Letting off Steam 2. The hit sequel to Letting Off Steam. And yeah, no fade transition with my camera, because I don't know how to set that up on this. Quite frankly. Of course, if I could just use OBS like I was planning on throughout this event, and like worked for almost 28 hours, then that wouldn't be an issue. But alas, here we are, where it's an issue. I've resorted to desperate measures. As one does. Okay, so
Good day to you.
over this way. And that's... I don't really have a closer place that I can travel to. I said it before, I'll say it again. I really wish I had a mini-map as I was exploring around, so I wouldn't have to check constantly. I don't know if my mic is picking up any snoring in the distance. But that's what happens at an event like this. That's how it goes. Playing video games, except that that could be going on with sounds around, and trying to sleep, except that there's people still gonna be playing games and making noise around. Although I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that's still talking in the venue at this point, so it feels a little bit awkward for me to continue to chat away as stuff is going on here. But honestly, at this point, just a little bit excited that I can just keep streaming it all when I was dealing with that for so long. So I started streaming at about 5 p.m. on Friday. Started streaming Metroid Prime 3. I did have to sleep at some point. I figured getting some tactical sleep on Friday night, Saturday morning, would get me at the ready for the long haul, so I could stay up tonight if I needed to get through additional stuff. And yeah, I am staying up since it's like 4:15. I'm gonna end up staying up. We shall see here. If I just end up staying up through the whole thing, or what I end up doing to maximize my time. Do I really want to maximize my time when I have this haphazard, awful setup going on and not like my regular stuff, because my regular stuff isn't working right now? I don't know. But anyway, I did that. I've been going out from time to time to... Oh, wow. I just really shred them now. Yeah, that's a switch target button. Getting confused with my other games. Like, why was Torwell doing so much damage? I've been going out from time to time to start my car because it's cold out, and I want it to actually be able to take me home on Sunday. Because just leaving it out in the cold and not starting it and letting it run from time to time means that it would not be able to start on Sunday. So I've been doing that from time to time.
Thanks so much for coming.
So I went to sleep at like, well, I ended stream, well, I left it going, but I wrapped up my gameplay stuff at like 2:30 in the morning, I think it was, on Saturday morning. Went out, ran my car for a little bit, came back in, started going to sleep at about 3 a.m., something like that. Then I got up at about 8:30, went out and ran my car for a little bit again, and got ready to hop into stream stuff again. And then about 9, started playing more Metroid Prime 3. I finished that up. I don't even remember. I know that I started playing my next game of Assassin's Creed Odyssey about 4:50 p.m. So in terms of like starting Metroid Prime 3 and then starting the next game, it was almost a full day span.
Time to go.
So it took me a little bit longer than I would have liked, honestly. Doom. What's the Doom do? Is it a little countdown here? Oh, seems like. It took me a little bit longer than I would have liked. And then the DLC story was supposed to be just like 2 hours of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then pretty sure it took me a little bit longer than that. I was getting lost a lot of the time. Was the case. Ow. And then, yeah, I tried to play Thousand Year Door for a little bit, and it just kept on breaking. And so I spent a while trying to diagnose my computer to no avail. Ow. Okay, Okay, how about you don't do that? And I was like, let's just try some Persona 3 instead. I'm a little bit late on that. Whoops, I gotta remember how to play this video game. And not get mixed up with Assassin's Creed Odyssey now. So I'm gonna have to do. And then I did like my segment of Persona 3 Reload, and I was like, oh, it's gotta be a capture card thing, right? And then, because that went alright for like the couple hours that I was doing it. So I figured, yes, definitely capture card thing. It was not, in fact, a capture card thing, and it just continued to break, and I could not do other things no matter what. I started switching back to Thousand Year Door, and then that broke, and I was like, oh, capture card thing. And I started trying to just play other things, and then that didn't work, and I started trying to figure out how to just stream this game to my computer. And then I would just, like, display capture the remote software there. Is what I figured. And then OBS would freeze my computer with that as well. I even got like the blue screen of death of like Windows has run into an error a couple times. That would also just freeze my computer. Like it would say, we're trying to diagnose the issue. at 0%, and it would just stay at 0% forever. So that wasn't really doing anything. And yeah, I eventually figured out that it was OBS, and I really tried to fix it, and I just couldn't for the life of me. After dealing with that from like, what was it, like 7:30 p.m. or something like that, ish, until an hour ago, it was just like, yep, Dark Side Streamlabs OBS time, just so I can keep playing here at all. Okay, hold on. I, since the last time, have realized that you can kind of end combos with Torgal. And I'm gonna want to try it from time to time here. So I'm gonna want to try it too, but I'm not exactly in the best state to be concentrating on a crazy action game. Maybe this will also help wake me up a little bit. But yeah, so I'm tired. My spirits are low after my computer just has refused to work and let me stream for so long. Not even stream. I tried recording once to see if that would fix things, and it froze my entire computer too. Like, it's not just OBS crashing, it's my entire computer freezes, and I have to hold the power button to force reboot it over and over and over again for hours trying to figure it out.
Thank goodness you're safe.
I hoped I would have, like, figured out the problem. At least I've narrowed it down to it being an OBS thing, not a capture card thing.
Let us keep you.
But I'm not looking forward to the workload ahead of me when I'm back home again, of figuring out what the heck the problem is here. So, yeah, after HallowLAN here, I might not be streaming for a little while, because it sounds like I'm going to have to do a lot of troubleshooting to figure out what the heck is going wrong here, and how to make it not go wrong, you know? So, yeah, I'm not exactly super enthused. I've never had technical issues to this extreme degree during one of these LAN events I've gone to, or any event stream that I've ran, whether it be a LAN event or a 24-hour cherry stream or what have you. So, I'm